Oh, yeah. All right. So you came back for more metal music to put in your library, and you came to the right channel because in the next few minutes, I have some brand new stuff that I will hook you up with. Okay. So, welcome back, friends. Today is episode 12. Happy Sunday, the 14th, 2024. And I'll tell you what, it is very, very cold out there. And Terry here again with Cast Metal and another Full Metal review segment where I connect bands with fans just like you. And what I do here in this segment is I review extreme metal albums, give a detailed analysis, and when it's all over, I decide whether it's going into my library or not. And I'll tell you, not everything does, but I've been on a streak lately. I've been very lucky finding some stuff that I really personally like. Okay. So I designed Full Metal reviews with one question in mind, and that is where can I get more new extreme metal music? And you can get it here, okay? Every day from my Apple Music app, I dig through the metal section and I review all the newest releases for stuff I can add to my own library. Then I review it, share it here with you on YouTube. All right, sound good? And bonus, if you stick around till the end, I will also dig through my collection and I'll send you out a recommendation of the day as well. It's definitely something that I do know about. Alrighty. So, see this slide, everybody? All of the stuff that is on this slide, I do, okay? Deathcore, metalcore, you name it, all right? So a recap, yesterday during episode 11, I reviewed Within Destruction's EP called Rebirth, and I added it to my library. It was absolutely magnificent, and check out yesterday's episode and check out the review on it. Today, I'm reviewing not one, but two extreme metal albums, starting with Extortionist's new album, Devoid, and it's an EP as well. So, the band Extortionist is a deathcore act formed in Idaho, according to the good old internet here. They are from USA. They were formed in 2013. They have two full length albums and a few EPs and singles on Apple Music. So, just so you know, I did this band bio at the very end of my review and doing all of my checklist stuff so that it doesn't influence, rather, my decision as to whether I want to listen to them or not. Because what I do is I listen to all of my albums basically, not previewed or anything like that. I pick them right out of the new releases and away I go. So the intent is to eventually review 3 albums, but quite frankly, I am busy cleaning up my checklist programs. I don't know my way around the YouTube tech or the dashboard at the back end and stuff like that quite yet. I'm getting there though, and I'm pledging that I'm only going to be in beta mode for the first 30 episodes, okay? And I don't mind saying that every single day that I'm out here, I do make good progress. So, all right, so let's move right along. All right, so here is the album cover for Extortionist. The album is Devoid. Okay, so the rules: 1, I review all albums without a preview. Okay, I avoid live albums and I avoid singles, okay, because it's not fair that I make a video about one song, I don't think. So 2, I keep my reviews short and positive. 3, not everything I listen to goes into my collection, but I won't knowingly badmouth any one band or anything like that. I don't play an instrument. I've never learned to sing. I'm just a fan. So I have really no right to judge, and I'm not the gatekeeper type or anything like that, okay? All right, so let's go. So before listening to the album, I did an overview check, a first impressions check, and I'll explain the process too as I go along. So in this first part, I do what you call the unveiling. Okay, it's like unboxing. And here I look at the artwork and I look at the album track when I open up the page on Apple Music and I see that there were 4 really tasty looking tracks. Pretty much spells to me deathcore all over it. And if the album cover matches the name, I think that I'm going to be in for something really good here. Okay. So, my first impression or predictions are before I play every album, I try to visualize the outcome. I always try to keep it positive. But in this case, I'm thinking deathcore and possibly even metalcore. And I'm anxious to compare my vision to like what I'm visualizing right now to the review results and the bio afterwards. So I created a checklist that starts with a 10-track review page, a 9-category complete album description review page, an individual performance review page for each artist and their instruments, and finally a summary review page to wrap things up. Okay. So moving forward with the individual track descriptions, there are only 4 tracks, and the first track I described as explosive, angry, and absolutely drilling power. Track number 2, smashing, brutal, and fast. Track number 3, just grinding, thunderous, and furious. Track number 4, blistering, angry, deep, and super explosive. I think that you guys see where I'm going with this. They remind me of a band called Throne somewhat with the anger and so on and so forth, and maybe even a little wee bit of Thy Art is Murder as well. During listening, the overall description checklist here. The recording and the sound quality is clean, very clean actually, very deep, very rich, but it's also running on the red line. You can tell that it's a very loud recording, and it's borderlining on pushing the recording equipment to the limits where it's almost crackling a little wee bit. So the production and musicality, it sounds raw, but you know that these guys may have a really good production team. The energy and the intensity of this album is absolutely off the chart high and explosive. The rhythm and tempo are punishing. The rhythms are very punishing. Lyrical theme is more or less the darker side of life. Now, genre critique, Apple categorizes this as metal, and I think deathcore, but even more. Like this is deathcore with super explosive properties in it. Could they go mainstream? No, absolutely not. Range, flow, and layout of these 4 songs was absolutely consistent, and it climaxed. The 4th song is actually, I believe, pretty much their strongest song on there, so it was a good arrangement. I feel like they sound like, just my final comment here, they sound like Throne, Thy Art is Murder, and maybe a little Emure mixed in there. During listening, the individual performance, the singing and vocalizations were bleeding and forceful. The guitars were punishingly crunchy with some gent and metalcore hues in there. The bass guitar just sounded just like a locomotive. The drums and percussion, the drummer is awesome. Tons of nice fundamental snap to his skins. And the additional sounds, well, there's some sampling in there to add some fullness, and it adds to the adrenaline effect. In summary, now that I've listened to the entire album, my prediction, was it accurate? I predicted deathcore, but this is, if there's such a thing as nuclear deathcore, that this would be it. This band is very, very loud and very big. My favorite tracks were definitely number 4, the final track on the album. It gave me chills, and emotionally, I feel adrenalized after I listened to the entire album. Flavors, if I had to compare it to a favorite food, I'd say that they were butter tarts because this stuff is sweet. Tonality, shades, light or dark, I'd say it's black as pitch. Colors, I would say it's black and blood red. Temperature, hot or cold, I'd say ultra cold. Hide it from my wife factor, Absolutely, yes. Is it going into my library? What do you think? Of course, it's going into my library. So now I had a couple of people ask me, how come I don't play music in my videos at all? And quite frankly, I don't do that because YouTube is making a lot of changes to their algorithms lately. They make changes on a weekly and a monthly basis, probably even on a daily basis. And the latest changes that they've been making is they are cracking down on artificial intelligence. They are cracking down on the people who are doing the um, oh God, what do you call those? They do the expressions, the reaction videos. There we go. They're cracking down on those. And for me myself, I started this out with the frame of mind that I didn't want to ride any I didn't want to get dangerous with fair usage policies, okay, and stuff like that. So I don't want anything to do with having my channel shut down in a year from now because I'm oversampling or using people's songs and just somehow YouTube manages to pick it out or anything like that. So it's going to be raw. It's going to be unfiltered. It's going to be live. It's just going to be me. And it's just going to be album reviews all the way through. Okay. Also, too, some good news. There were 21 new releases, and I will send them to my Facebook page a little bit later today. Expect that tonight. That is on my Metal Magazine page. You can follow the links to go and see that. Okay. So, this next band that I'm about to review is Inculter, and they were formed in 2012 in Norway. They're considered a blackened thrash metal band with 2 full-length albums and a couple of singles on Apple Music. Remember, the bio is added at the end of listening and reviewing, so that my unveiling and the outcome are not the same thing, okay? So as I unveiled this, I opened up the page and I saw that there were 9 tracks, and I guess I would say that they were black metal, just to take a shot at it. The album cover was strikingly beautiful, as you can see. The artwork in typical death metal style font with a type of cryptic goth font, as you can see. And my first impressions and predictions, well, they are same as earlier. I play every album. I try to visualize the outcome, and I always try to keep it positive. I am thinking black metal, and I'm anxious to kind of compare the review results and bio afterwards because I really can't predict what Inculter is going to be like at this point. The process, as I explained earlier, I created a 4-tiered checklist to document everything to share with you. And so here we go. We're going to move to the individual track descriptions, and it's a breakdown of each track. And all I do is I use numbers instead of the full pronunciation to manage my time and stuff like that. And I don't want to mispronounce the names of the albums, of the songs and the albums, and so on and so forth. So track number 1 is the opening song, and it is very relaxing with flowing strings. Track number 2, it's an 80s vibe thrash sound and very energetic and lightning fast. A lot to do with early Metallica, for example, or even Exodus. Track number 3, it's big, roaring, and dramatic. Track number 4 is just chugging, rhythmic, and rangy. Track number 5 is thrashing, speedy, and powerful. Track number 6 is grinding, strong, and rumbling. Track number 7 is melodic, rhythmic, with a lot of da-da-da-da like that. You guys know what that's all about. Track number 8 is big, dramatic, strong, slow tempo, and powerful, okay? Track number 9 is just all-out thrash, and it is a really great final song. All right, during listening, recording and sound quality is good and clear, but on the flatter side, okay, it sounds like older recording equipment, to be honest with you, like old 80s equipment. And maybe that's the style that they're going for. I don't know. But the production and musicality is very raw sounding. It sounds like a band who's put out their first album and they're very exciting and it's that memorable album. But it also would make sense if it was decently produced as well because it does sound like they've had some help. The energy and intensity factor is very high with nice instrumentals and everything just works well with the album. Rhythm and tempo is fast paced with razor sharp guitar work and really, really good attack. The lyrical theme is pretty much that whole End of Mankind lyrical feel. And the genre critique, Apple categorizes this as metal, and I think, well, it's thrash with the smell of the 80s all over it. Could they go mainstream? I don't think that that's the general direction that they want to do, but you never know. It's hard to say. Range, flow, and layout, good and consistent from start to end. Not a bad song on the album, to be very frank with you. And who are they similar to? Quite frankly, they sound like the Big Four. Their early work with some Exodus baked in there. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied a little wee bit. And so during listening, the individual performance description, the singing and vocalizations, and the singing here is solid and more like the raspy 80s style yelling and singing before the death growling actually came around. More like the James Hetfield or the Exodus singer and so on and so forth. The guitars are razor-like rhythms and scorching leads. The bass guitar is a great fit with the drums, but not overly prominent. And the drums and percussion were fast and furious with a lot of snap to them. And it doesn't sound like they use any sampling effects. It's just 4 or 5 guys with their instruments, and that's it. There's no synthesizer work of any kind. So, my summary, now that I've listened to the entire album, how does it compare with my first impression when I first saw and chose the album? I would say my prediction was fairly accurate. I predicted black metal, but it was very much thrash based. Sorry about that. No, I was not accurate, to be very honest with you. I thought black metal, but it's very much thrash based. Okay, just to correct that. My favorite tracks were 2 and 11. 11 was just warp speed. Uh, it was a great ride emotionally, but I'll give it a 4 to 5 on the goosebump meter. It wasn't that bad. It's just that I've heard a lot of this stuff before. And the flavors, well, if you had to compare it to a favorite food, it would be pasta topped with metal shavings. That's the way I would describe it. So the tonality and shades, light or dark, I would say that they're very light. The colors, I would give it a red, as in red line fast. Temperature, hot or cold? It's hot for sure. Hide it from my wife factor? Absolutely. This stuff is very harsh. And finally, is it going to go into my library? Sure, I'm going to hang on to it for a little while, but to me, it's nostalgic. I don't listen to much Metallica or Slayer anymore because quite frankly, there's a whole world of really great stuff to discover. So, and that's about it for today. So let me see what I can give you for a track of the day. I'm going to dig into my library here and we shall see what I can get for you. How about, oh, this one here is really good. The band Kraanium with 2 A's, and the album is Scriptures of Vicennial Defilement. Try that one out. That one is very deep and harsh too. I think that you'll enjoy it. And remember, guys, please join me again soon. I'll have another episode tomorrow. And please don't forget to subscribe, engage, set your notifications so that you know when I am setting up another review. And follow the links. Check out the 21 tracks that are going to be on my Facebook page today, a little bit later on. And remember, lastly, to please support your favorite metal artists. Okay. Stream their music often, buy their merchandise, go see them live, engage with them on social media so that they get more engagement. And that is a wrap for today. So, guys, happy Sunday. Okay. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.